Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Hi there.
Hi,
I'm Charlie.
Alan Barrett.
Alan, nice to meet you.
You're Trevor Bennett.
Trevor, nice to meet you. Which item are you guys here for?
We're here for the Alan P. Barrett and Judy G. Barrett subdivision application.
I wondered why it was named that.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We just got the email from Tammy, said you're welcome to join if you want, so you might as well come and
Yeah,
jump in, so.
yeah, it's always helpful to have applicants here, especially if I've got a question. Okay, are we recording?
Yep, we're recording.
Hey, welcome everybody to the administrative review meeting. Today is April 22nd, 2026. It's 4 p.m. or just after 4. We've got a pretty full agenda, so we've got 5 items on today's agenda. The first item is the file UVP 0304261. Consideration and action on a request for final subdivision approval of the Prado at Powder Mountain Phase 1 subdivision, a 36 lot subdivision located in the BRR1 zone and at the end of Summit Pass Road in Eden. Felix, you're our presenter?
Yes. So thank you for that intro. It pretty well covers some of the details as far as, this proposal for, residential single family lot development up in the resort area for Powder Mountain Ski Resort. And, what they provided with for the county for this development is they have a subdivision plan that has obtained preliminary approval from the planning commission already, and so now they're looking for final approval. And they've addressed the majority of the comments that we have up on Frontier, and they are still going to be getting us some additional information as far as minor edits to the civil drawings. And there is a development agreement that's associated with this proposal that we reviewed based on maximum allowable development units and requirements as far as open space preservation that's associated, and also looking at what else was submitted with this application is geologic and geotechnical reports. We are dealing with some mountainous areas, and so that way the subdivision improvements would be designed and in with best practices as far as for public road and for that longevity of those improvements. And, let's see here. So this 36 lot development is at the end of the Summit Pass Road. The extension of Summit Pass Road, it still remains to be a terminal street, and what they're doing is they're providing an emergency evacuation plan that is included with the report that shows, their first option for evacuation down Powder Mountain Road and out. But there also is designated meeting places within the resort that people would gather in case of an emergency. There is also, being that this development is in an area where they have some public trail networks that are existing, the Brim Trail. So they're looking at providing us with a kind of an updated trail plan for the Brim. And they already have a portion of the Brim Trail that's established, built. They just haven't opened it up to the public yet.
A portion of the reroute.
Reroute, yes. They just haven't opened it up because of there's still ongoing construction and they don't want that liability. And so they're going to provide that to us pretty soon here. As far as the services that exist, you have culinary water and secondary. Actually, they don't have secondary water, but they would be using the Powder Mountain Water and Sewer District would cover this area for the water and sewer needs. So as far as review agency requirements, like I said, there are still some remaining comments that would be addressed. Let's see here. Weaver Fire District has deemed this proposal acceptable based on the road widths, turnarounds, and fire hydrants. Survey will be added some additional comments. In the report, I've included the area map and the construction drawings. Going on to the next section, which will be staff's recommendation. Staff recommends final approval of the Prado at Powder Mountain Phase 1 with those conditions that the final subdivision plat shall include a cost estimate for the subdivision improvements. Cost for the subdivision improvements, whether or not completed at the time of recreation, shall be escrowed with the county. All county review agency requirements are satisfied. An updated trail network plan shall be submitted. There's also findings in the report. So we have the development plan and the construction drawings here. And the very last exhibit in this report would be the evacuation plan with the evacuation plan narrative. So that's it.
Public or private streets?
These are private streets. It's
A little bit about the evac. Oh, all right. The map is on the other page. So the write-up talks a lot about an evac plan, but it doesn't have an evac plan. Okay, so
yeah, so those pages are showing the turnarounds.
are these all part of the evac plan?
Those
Or
are
is it just
requirements for from fire,
Okay.
and I think they'll be used for safety and access, but as far as the plan they put together is, the emergency evac plan.
Tell me a little bit about cul-de-sacs.
Mhm.
A lot of cul-de-sacs here. Are they in line with the changes? Are they reflecting the changes on in their development agreement?
Well, they don't conform exactly with the development agreement. There are some variations as far as like their road plan.
More cul-de-sacs
Um,
or the same amount?
I don't know. I'd have to look a little bit more detail on that question.
I just know the biggest concern that Dave Rich had and that I have is that the more cul-de-sacs you have, cul-de-sacs are always great because gives the perception of a right of exclusivity, but redundancy of egress is really important. Is that what this is between these two cul-de-sacs? Says there's gonna be a fire hydrant right there,
You know,
or is that just a private access to another lot?
yeah, I'm not sure what that one is. I bet the town can tell us still.
Trying to read it on the subdivision plat, it's too small.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's target. So they shouldn't be in competition with that. So just a contract and the FFL and it's all good. And then it would be in for Brad, to make sure that he's not one of the parameters of the contract. Okay, I'm fine with that, I'm totally fine with that, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else. And remind me, because then 2 years and then I look for other things and.
Showing it as parcel one, just giving you the square footage. And it's also. We're referencing what could be access to a public utility in that, through that space. Here,
Is there well there?
that's what it is, it's like, you know,
I would. Hopefully we'll stand by something.
I'd have to line up, I mean, she, so,
Would you be able to jump on the Zoom and maybe pull it up on the screen?
I think so.
Let me just look at the aerial generally.
So,
Should be in your Zoom. Okay. While you're doing that, I'm gonna postpone decision on that one until the end of this meeting, or a little later in the meeting when we can get all the information out.
Then.
Hello.
They have to go on.
Okay, I'm in here in the county with Trevor. in the meeting.
Okay, all right, I'll just comment,
Okay.
sorry if I'm just.
And I don't know, you know, but I brought my, for card for.
Right.
All the district goals, I have to do the short thing. All everything.
Right, okay, see you later.
Okay,
Bye.
goodbye.
Waiting for that.
no,
Let's just move that to, I'll finish making a decision, but we'll move to the end of the agenda. Okay. When we pull that up, we don't have folks voting for us.
mhm,
Okay, let's move on to item 1.2. Consideration and action on a request for final subdivision approval of the Prado at Powder Mountain Phase 2. A 3-lot subdivision located in the DR1 zone, located at the end of Summit Pass Road. Felix,
yep.
give me a presentation on that one too.
Yeah, very similar. So this phase two of Prado is just a little offshoot off of that road that they're building on. And so this would be a 3-lot subdivision. And this was also approved with the planning commission. And it was last month. Where they got the approval. Those conditions we just carried over, those conditions that from the planning commission were mostly related to just your final approval. And so a lot of the same conditions apply to this where, also, you're looking at public trail access, realignment. So. The open space requirements as far as those calculations for.
Right.
Remaining.
Just in some option, that was not owned by the county.
Let's see here.
Where it's owned by the county, where it's owned there.
Development. So with each development, the Powder Mountain Groups provides us with a development report. And they tally the number of lots they have recorded. Right now, they're up to 245. Going to the latest report.
By in terms of this contract.
Let's move on to the staff's recommendation from here.
Actually, Felix, I think I've got some of the same questions on this one too. Do you mind if we move to the third one and come back to those two?
Sure.
I think the conditions of approval will all be the same.
But just before we move on, staff's recommendation is for approval on this one as well. See. So the next one would be
1.3. ZBA 2026-01, request to approve a minor amendment to the Winston Park Development Agreement to amend the text related to the interior stairs within the patio homes. The amendment would allow for an option for a set of stairs within the home for a bonus room in the attic or extra storage space in the garage. Talk to me a little bit about this one first.
Yeah, sure. So Mr. Rumsey is looking at working with a builder that has a specific product that they'd like to have a little bit of extra storage space as a bonus room in the attic. And also give the option of, and which would require stairs in kind of the interior, but also give that builder an option of building some stairs in the garage to build some extra storage space there. But there was some conflict with the development agreement. The way the language was drafted was approved was basically said no stairs entering the home or within the home. And so we thought a good solution for them would just to amend the development agreement. So Wade went ahead and had a discussion with Jim Harvey, county commissioner. And then I followed up with Jim Harvey personally to make sure that he was okay with us making the language change. He did confirm that, and so what the staff put together was an amendment to the development agreement, which would be recorded on title for the properties in phase 3. It would allow for those things that the developer is asking for, with some minor language text amendments. So I've also cleared this through the county attorney's office with Liam, and he says it looks fine.
Okay, so he's okay with it being called an amendment to the development agreement. Okay. Will you pull up the development agreement for the project and just go to the section about amendments?
Yeah.
Just we can just recap on what our authority is here. Oh, yeah.
Just access the development agreement through the.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Like section 8 or something like that.
Eight. Right.
Yep.
There's the right one.
Yeah, different convention, different layout on this one. Yeah, keep on going. Maybe it was 10 or 11. Oh, excuse me. Will you, enlarge, zoom in and enhance? Yeah. So. Without the need for amendment to the developer. Just your all developer, okay. Project facility repair maintenance, and without amending, okay, authorize changes, enlargements or alters. County staff may review and approve certain minor changes, enlargements or adjustments, the changes to the project in their respective administrative capacities. Following types of changes are considered minor, provided no such changes shall directly or indirectly result in significantly greater impacts on those than those contemplated in the approval of this agreement. Okay. Comply with laws, landscape change de minimis. Other de minimis changes requested by the developer, which are reasonably consistent with the intent of this agreement and the R115 zone, and are routine and uncontested. Okay. Have we had any contests of adding stairs to the patio homes? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and make a decision on this one. To the extent that administrative staff have the authority to amend the development agreement, let's hereby approve the changes as proposed. In the event that it is found that the county does, that administrative staff don't have the authority to amend the agreement, but rather have the authority to amend how it's applied. So I'm just gonna answer the question two ways, just in case we can't actually change the agreement, we can change how it's applied. The findings that I would make are that a staircase with the intent of the lack of stairs was to provide for a residence that has all of the facilities that a residence has on the same level for an aging population. Adding a bonus room, even with potential bathroom or bedroom or whatever upstairs, does not negate the ability for that home to function and act as a patio home. People don't have to use those stairs. So I still think it's in keeping with the intent of the development agreement. And it was just unfortunate oversight or a poor phrasing of terms of the development agreement that makes it seem like no steps are allowed at all. As long as a complete home exists on the main level, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. Then I think it's in compliance. So
Yeah, thank you.
either approve the change or approve what I just said, one of the two, whichever holds legal water.
Yeah.
Felix, do you mind if we go to the, on Tammy's?
Not at all, no.
These guys voting? Okay. Tammy, we, adjusted the agenda just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we're on 1.4 now.
Mhm.
Consideration action on a request for final approval of Alan P. Barrett and Judy G. Barrett Trust subdivision, a lot average subdivision consisting of 2 lots located on 2750 South, 4300 West in Ogden. Tammy, you present?
Yes. This proposal is located in the A1 zone. These proposed 2 lots front on 4300, so dedication of the half width of the 80 feet. Whatever hasn't yet been dedicated will be dedicated by the applicant and is shown on their proposed final plat. This is a lot average subdivision, and so in looking at both of these lots, both the width and the area, when averaged together, meet the minimum for the A1 zone, which is 150 feet and 40,000 square feet in area. The averages exceed that width and area actually. There's no open space proposed in here. However, along the canal, planning staff has asked for a pathway easement per the general plan. And that is shown on their final plat, 10 feet wide. On the applicant's side of the canal, on the subdivision side of the canal. Taylor West Weaver Water and Taylor West Weaver Water will service this, and then we've got a feasibility letter for septic from Weaver Morgan Health Department. And I think that's it. We would recommend approval of this subdivision subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report, in addition to all review agency requirements. We would like a final approval letter from Taylor West Weaver Water prior to recording the final plat. An updated feasibility letter from Weaver Morgan Health Department is required before recording the final plat. So this subdivision has been in process for the last couple of years almost. In that time, the feasibility letter was both issued and has expired, yeah. Weaver Fire District needs to recommend approval of this final plat. I don't foresee any issues with Weaver Fire. However, if you look at their proposed plat, one of the lots includes some land on the east side of the canal. And so if there are any structures that are constructed on that side, Weaver Fire will need some kind of access there. It may be better to not look at that. I know that land was added to be able to meet the minimums for a lot average subdivision in the zone. And then the county engineering is requiring a deferral agreement along 4300 West for curb gutter and sidewalk, as well as additional asphalt. And we,
Referral for the asphalt?
yes.
Okay.
So these are based on the findings outlined in the staff report. Do you have any questions?
The trail easement is inside of the 24-foot,
Yes.
canal easement. Okay.
Mhm.
Who owns that canal?
That is Wilson.
It was.
I didn't understand what you, as a result of the sidewalk along there.
So
Is it deferred or is?
it is deferred,
Mhm.
so when the county deems it necessary to install that, and likely that will occur when the road widens as develop continues, then the county will reach out to the property owners who front that, and they will put in their proportionate share.
We don't always do that. We try not to do it if we can, but sometimes when it is needed so that we can actually get the road up to the speed that it needs to be
Yeah,
at.
I'm sure that road will be widened, but right now
No need for
it'd be silly to have sidewalk along there. See,
for this long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, every house that fronts that road, they all chip in their share to that, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we could do this one of 2 ways. We could do every two lot subdivision, every other one has a sidewalk, or we could just wait until there's enough contiguity, so.
yeah, that makes sense.
I like that way of doing it. The financial obligation is still there, on, you guys or whoever buys the properties from you, but, at least that, the burden isn't there on the taxpayers overall. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead, sorry, what were okay, review conditions. Okay, Health Department. Have you guys had the chance to read the deferral agreement yet?
No, although.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay,
that.
that's all right. Yeah, just wondering if you knew what was in there, yeah. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and approve this subdivision. Based on the findings and conditions of the staff report. All good. Okay. You guys don't have to sit here any longer if you don't want to, or you could stay for the rest of the meeting.
Great, thank you.
So do you understand everything?
I think so, yeah,
We're,
I think so,
we're about there then?
yeah.
You know, it has taken a long time. I've gone 3 years without farming that ground, and I used to have tomatoes on there. My cousin did, and
Oh,
make
shoot.
a lot of money off of an acre and a half
tomatoes?
of tomatoes, so.
Yeah,
I'd like to avoid this in the future. If I live long enough, we'll probably have another one of these
Yeah.
on my property, and
just so you guys
so
know,
if you just maybe have a meeting right to start with, and I think part of the problem was we went the low bidder on the
Yeah.
surveyor and things like that. Just tell us up front,
Okay.
you know, the ones that
So
maybe you did.
legally, we can't recommend a
You
surveyor.
can't,
No, we can't. We can't favor one surveyor over the other. That has actually been the entire issue all along.
I do have the list now though of ones that you guys work with.
well, we would
Now
know,
with
we would know a little more than we knew before.
Yeah.
But I guess then what we would have to do is, I know some developers and things, I just have to go to them and say, who do you use that's best? You can do that, can you?
yes,
Yeah, we can do that.
I
And
mean, I
I think
can do that,
I've
or-
given Trevor
Yeah.
a list of just of surveyors that we worked with
Yeah.
quite a bit in Weber County. Typically, they're more familiar with our ordinance. This surveyor knew nothing about our ordinance. So there were a lot of changes and a lot of back and forth.
It's not always best to go to low bidder.
I don't know if you had any questions on the plan with the road on the north side of the White House or not, or if that's changes anything or is involved at all with this, but if you wanted to, but the later discussion or now discussion.
is that part of, is that it's inside of the subdivision or is it on?
We don't
It's
have-
on the outside, outside, okay.
Yeah, we didn't require any dedication
Okay.
outside of the additional on 4300.
Appreciate that really a lot.
So that'll come at some point in the future when the rest of the land is
Hey,
developed. And just so you guys know, the general plan is set up so that this property could be rezoned to the R115 zone, which allows 2.9 units to the acre, so you don't have to deal with the 1 acre lot average requirement. 2.9 units to the acre is the number of homes that you could potentially get out of these properties, both the ones that we just divided as well as the rest of your property.
Mhm.
So there's a little bit of potential land wealth in that, if you guys are interested in the future. That will probably help pay for a different surveyor who knows the codes a little bit better,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
help pay for itself, but
Yeah.
we don't want you to develop it until you guys are ready, so.
Yeah, okay, then, yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of changes out there. Our area is really growing, and they'll be bound to be commercial and a lot
Yep.
more homes too.
Yeah.
Yep. Slowly filling in, it's not much space left to build unless you go out
I
there.
knew it was gonna happen, because between Farmington Bay and Willard Bay, our area through Taylor and West Weaver is about the only area that wasn't.
Yeah, last little bit.
You're Charlie, you're,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was in the Farm Bureau.
Oh, yeah.
And you came to us quite a few times, and you had.
Yeah, your face looks familiar, yeah.
That's real sheet.
My beard's a little longer than it
Yes,
was.
I
though.
think it is. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes, thanks for sticking with it.
my wife passed away recently, and,
I'm
her
sorry.
name is on the trust. Do I need to do anything? Seems like they said on the trust I didn't.
Typically with trusts, you don't, you'll want to talk to whoever your attorney was that put that together. You can also talk to the recorder's office and they may be able to give you a little bit of information on that. Trevor, do you have a copy of the staff report?
I don't think so.
Okay, I would recommend addressing those first 3 conditions before you print up your final plat.
Okay, I do, yeah, okay.
And
Yeah,
you
so
can
you'd
reach
send us
out
over
to
an
fire
email.
directly, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, and then we can get your plat printed up and it usually just takes a few days to get signatures on there.
okay,
Okay.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you very much.
Thanks for joining us.
There's the first page of that as well.
Okay, awesome. Did you say you can print these up?
I can print up the deferral agreement, but no, you've got to you need to get an updated letter from Weber Morgan Health.
Yeah.
And from Taylor West Weber
Yeah,
Water.
okay.
Yeah,
I-
but the Mylar, your surveyor
Yeah,
Needs
okay,
to print that up.
okay, I think, okay, thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Travel safe.
Josh.
Okay, let's go
Yeah.
back.
Thanks.
Let's go back to item number 1.1. If you don't mind, Felix.
Yeah, so I think this should help answer some questions, Charlie. So this is kind of the overall of phase 1 and 2. So phase 2 is the one up top. So got those 3 lots, which are these 3. This is showing as a detention, enchanted forest detention pond. They're not connected. Yeah, it almost looks like they've got some dashed line.
Yeah, all the other ones show some kind of a dash line, and then the other cul-de-sac show a dash line. I'm just wondering if that's
And this one,
fire or emergency, or if it's just, if it's for some other purpose.
What's this right here? It looks like an extension of the cul-de-sac.
yeah, and that's also a lift station for sewer as well as this
There are lift stations for
sewer
sewer,
lift stations.
so we're probably looking at easements. Is there, can you scroll to a sheet on the plat that might give us a little more information on that?
They've got.
That's what I was able to find. Let's see, this one says detention pond. So, let's see if we can.
Can we do these cul-de-sacs follow the?
They do.
Adjustments?
They do, you're gonna see probably recreation easements, there should be trail easements. Just to kind of add to, if Felix hasn't brought it up, we have asked Powder Mountain to submit a concept plan as far as where some of these public trails are gonna be relocated, because they're currently planning over them. So they will get that to us, they're aware that we really can't look at many more applications until they get something to us,
Okay.
so.
So this is showing that same thing, Charlie. But I'm wondering if those are just easements. That's not actually a connection. You can see
Yeah,
this is probably your sewer line easement or some utility easement. Then you've got your lift station and your access road from the end of the cul-de-sac.
okay. Okay. In that case, let's go ahead and approve this development. I want to add a condition, and I'm gonna do it to both of the Powder Mountain projects. And this is just typical based on staff report. So let's go ahead and approve this based off of the staff report findings and conditions with one additional condition. That the trails this development block shall be rebuilt around or through the subdivision as part of construction of this subdivision. Do you think that's fair
Yeah,
for them? Okay,
did you say rebuilt or relocated?
yeah, like rebuilt around or through
Okay.
the subdivision, just as long as it makes a connection and it's of reasonable quality of connections that were there now. And let's go ahead and really quickly do that to item 1.2 as well. Same findings, same conditions. Here. Do that, or maybe I should give it to Marta.
I'll make a copy and give it to you.
Okay,
Good stuff.
last but not least, item 1.5. What you got for us, Dan?
This is a request for final approval of the enclave at Powder Mountain Subdivision Phase 1. It's a 1-lot subdivision that extends Shelter Hill Road. Currently, if you look at the top of the plat, you'll see a cul-de-sac has been platted. They're looking to extend that and loop it around. They're creating a loop road. Small loop road, an internal loop road, if you will. You see that? There you go.
Okay. You're good.
So here's the top right here. We've already got a subdivision platted. They platted a cul-de-sac. That's per their concept area plan. They're extending that road. So when they do escrow, they're gonna have to escrow for the entire roadway. Planning doesn't have really. Planning doesn't have any concerns. Powder Mountain Water and Sewer are servicing this. We've got a capacity assessment letter from them. The proposal matches the concept area plan under which this is being developed. They, like every application, we do request an emergency evacuation plan and a narrative. And we will continue to do that until we have a second access down the mountain. Shelter Hill Road is a private roadway, and so I've noted in here under additional design standards and requirements that the Brim Trail, a public trail, currently runs through lot 40 of this subdivision. The applicant or developer will need to show where this section of Brim Trail will be relocated prior to any new development applications in the area. The maintenance of all the private roadways is under the responsibility of the HOA, and parking along these 60-foot wide right-of-ways, as Felix has stated in his Powder Mountain staff reports, is discouraged by Weber Fire District during the winter. They don't really have any concerns during clear, dry weather. They continue to meet the open space requirements. And so we would recommend approval based on the conditions outlined in the staff report, in addition to all review agency requirements. And based on the findings, I'm still putting in there that it conforms to the Ogden Valley General Plan until we've officially kind of renamed.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
we just technically still have two different general plans.
Yeah. Okay, do you have questions for me about this one, Charlie?
Remind me again, how many lots we're looking at here?
This is one lot.
And the one lot is the road, or the one lot is
The one
next
lot,
to the road?
it is the lot, and then they are platting the entire road, yeah.
Okay.
So there are 39 lots in Shelter Hill subdivision. They're calling this lot 40, even though it falls immediately adjacent in a subdivision they're calling the enclave.
What is, there's an easement there that connects the lot. I think that's the lot. Huh? It says drainage utility.
I might need to pull that up. I'm not gonna be able to read it on here. Let's see. Which easement are you talking about, Charlie?
Well,
Oh, this
Um,
one here? You talking about this
yeah.
one here?
what that is? Hard to read.
It's a sewer easement.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a sewer easement.
and that is the parcel, kind of a wonky shape.
Yep, this one right here, almost like a, yeah, like a,
Oh,
this is the parcel
That
here,
one.
sorry,
Got it.
that's the
Nope, nope.
parcel.
oh, you're good.
And then here's the road that loops around.
Okay, no.
Sorry, I should have enlarged that or put it up on the screen to make it easier.
Zoom in and enhance. Enhance.
Right,
more,
yeah.
enhance more. Okay. Oh, this looks good. Comments from fire?
Just that they're, it's a 60-foot wide private right of way. They're happy with the ability to be able to loop around and not have to do a hammerhead. And again, the parking gets dicey in the winter time where that snow storage takes up so much of the asphalt.
How many lots are on that dead end road?
Well, you have 39 right here, Charlie, in Shelter Hill, and then you have 40.
40.
Now, you mean this particular dead end road?
Hmm.
Right? We can go back to the Powder Mountain Road being a dead end road.
Good question.
Yeah, 276 are the number of lots platted so far. That includes this subdivision and Felix's.
Tell me a little bit more about the development agreement, in the context of our zone ordinance and limitations on homes on dead end roads. I understand, I think the county stance is development agreement predated. There was a single access going all the way up from Wolf Creek all the way up to the
Mhm.
top, so it predated some of our dead end road standards.
It did, I believe our terminal, when did our terminal dead end street ordinance come into play? I feel like it's been since I've been here in the last 10 years.
We revised it
Okay.
within the last few years, yes.
Their development agreement says that once they hit 1,440 lots, they have to secure a second way off of the mountain. That's all I will say on the record about that.
So if the county is not considering, for whatever reason, is excluding from its evaluation, the dead end road that runs from obviously Wolf Creek up there. This one starts as a dead end. Somewhere back here a little bit.
Mhm.
Is there exceptions in their development agreement, about 30 lots on, because now we're extending. the
No,
existing?
no, but I will tell you extensive discussions with all county agencies. In the end, I think we've realized that we don't have a whole lot of teeth between the ordinance, the previous ordinance and the development agreement. And so we're looking at it strictly at this point from a safety perspective.
Okay.
And as long as they continue per their development agreement to submit an evacuation plan and a narrative with that and show us a map that shows where those shelter in place areas will be, then we don't have a whole lot of choice, to be honest.
Based on the development agreement, we feel like they're potentially entitled to, any number of dead end roads with any number of lots.
The commission doesn't want us to tell them no. How's that? I said that on the record. I didn't want to, but
Um,
but really to justify the commissioner's hesitancy in having us halt development on a dead end road. Between legal and all of the departments, we don't feel like we have enough teeth to say you cannot develop anymore. So so we're trying to mitigate the safety concerns. And we feel like we're doing that as best we can.
I guess my specific question isn't necessarily about halting, it's more just about extending,
Hmm.
not from Wolf Creek, just from wherever this joins up with whatever, what's the road called? The county road,
Oh, Summit.
Summit.
So Shelter Hill, if you follow Summit Pass to the end, it then becomes Shelter Hill and it runs through the Shelter Hill subdivision. It branches off to the west to go to the Prado subdivisions.
Is this, so Hill, is it planned to loop back?
It is not right now. So unless they come in and they amend a concept area plan and they show us a different concept. In fairness to the developer, I really think they're figuring out these road locations as they're getting boots on the ground, as they're surveying for more development. So it's easy to look at a piece of paper and say, well, this is where we think it should go. But when you're looking at the topography up close, it poses some unique challenges, I think. And so I think the developer really is making a concerted effort to loop these where they can to try to meet what fire is asking for and the intent of the development agreement. But I think until we get another access off of the mountain, this is likely how development will continue to look for the time being.
The road extension here, that's, I'm assuming, part of the amendments that they've recently made for their development.
Yes, yeah.
How much detail is provided in those
In the,
reconfigured maps? Do they show lots or anything like that?
no, they just show, I think we call them blobs is the technical term we use in the planning office. They show blobs of, density types, right? So multifamily, single family, commercial. That's how they're shown, and it is conceptual. The survey or the concept area plans are not survey grade. I think intentionally to allow for a little bit of flexibility where needed. But even with minor changes, we've had them submit administrative applications.
How quickly are they looking to Pretty cool. Yesterday.
The moment they feel like it. So, the thing that's gonna probably tie this up is the escrow for the road. It's a lot of escrow. So they'll have to, get their engineered plans finalized if they haven't already. I haven't checked in on this one. A cost estimate, of course, to engineering and then submit the payments. So you generally, once they submit escrow, they want to go fast. So I don't know when that will be, but they seem to be in a hurry for most of their applications.
This one went to the planning commission?
No, this is a one lot, Charlie.
Oh, duck.
It's a
Sorry.
one lot.
I'm
No, that's okay.
Looking at,
It's because it's calling it lot 40 and it's at the end of a 39 lot sub.
Yeah.
So this is a one lot. So there was no preliminary.
realizing how many lots were in that other one that the pivots showing.
Mm. I mean, just off of the end of Summit Pass, you've got the Lodge lot plus Shelter Hill. That's 39, that's 40. This is 41. They're calling it lot 40, but it's 41 lots. And then how many have you got in the Prado ones?
So far,
About 40?
it's like 42, and then they have phase 3 coming pretty quick here, which is another. Yeah, another, but let me see.
It's interesting, between 25 and 33% of their lots right now are just at the end of Summit Pass.
Yeah, so phase 3 is 17.
So it'd be almost 100.
Do we have an overall image to show where the two that you were working on, that you showed us, Felix, and then the one that Tammy's working on, do we have an overall we can? pull
We
up on
don't,
screen?
but if you want to pull up GeoGizmo, I can probably put that together. I wonder if I can request that from Powder Mountain, actually. That'd be kind of nice to have an overall map.
Just gonna see it, how it
Yeah.
fits in. They've got a pretty decent, oh, I know, there's something here. This is their their evac map.
Do you have something that you wanted to bring up, or?
No, I was just gonna point out where it was off of Summit Pass Road. Thanks, Felix. So Charlie. Here's your Summit Pass here. You've got their big private lodge here. This is Shelter Hill Subdivision. Here's the White Pine Basin Trail, by the way, so they're platting over that. Here's your Prado subdivision, so I think Flat Top runs through some of those Prado ones. But this is coming down here and it's looping around this way right now. And then you've got the product phases over here.
Any reason they're putting that loop in?
I don't know, actually. I'm assuming lots will show up around that loop.
Yeah, at some point in the future.
Yeah, that's my assumption. I don't know why else you would do that. I don't know what's going in the middle of that loop. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they're gonna put lots on either side. I don't know. We haven't seen they're pretty close to the vest until they're ready to submit, so. I'm trying to think. I don't know that they've had any subdivisions over the last few years where the slopes have concerned engineering as far as the roadways go. Sorry,
The ones that have, the roads that have been proposed, or the road?
the newer roads
The
that have
new
come in,
configuration.
they do not have slopes that have concerned fire or engineering. Fire's biggest concern was just getting a fire station at the top of the mountain. Now their concern is they're at one end and all this development is going on at the other end of Powder Mountain Development, but that's for them to work out a little bit. But as far as slopes go, they're well under the maximum.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you gonna ask?
What was it, Dave Rich was telling us when we met last with him? about, or not last, but time before last, about some of the cul-de-sacs. He wasn't as happy about them going in.
He's not at all happy about all the cul-de-sacs going in. There's a lot of them. There's a lot.
I mean, I know that they've changed their master plan, so they're entitled to do them. Okay,
We've asked every time, I mean, Rick and I met with Powder Mountain 2 or 3 weeks ago. They wanted to go over some proposed changes to a concept area plan, and I said, I'll be honest, planning and engineering are concerned with all of the cul-de-sacs that are now showing up. I said, you've got cul-de-sacs that look so close to each other on paper, why not connect them? Because we'd rather see that. And they just said that the challenging topography is what prevented them from connecting them. So you're gonna see cul-de-sacs that look like
they're
they're
next to
just,
each other.
yeah,
offset.
yeah.
Do we have the topography to verify their reasoning?
No, I mean, I guess we could pull up a topo map.
I mean, I don't need it right now. I'm just wondering if we've seen that. Because if Dave's looking at it thinking maybe there should be a connection and he's just looking at the map,
He's just looking at the
paper
map.
map, then
Yeah,
that's a different story.
a lot of these newer cul-de-sacs haven't been built yet, so.
Felix, where on this egress map, the evacuation map is the one that we just looked at?
Oh,
Or
the Prado ones,
Yeah.
so it'd be down here.
Oh, okay, so this map is an older map. So the new map should have that on there, right?
I wonder if they submitted an older map with this said that.
Yeah. Well, so when they submit a sub app, they do need to submit an emergency evac.
That is per their development agreement. I don't know that we required those before the last few years.
It doesn't look like the emergency evacuation map that they provided considers at least the two that we were just looking at. It
Mhm.
does certainly consider the one that
Shelter Hill.
is on the agenda now.
Mhm.
Let's see the- Save. Yeah. Um. I want to take a minute to. Well, hold on, just make a decision on the thing. So I'm okay approving this one. On the condition that, placed on the other two that we looked at, whatever that was about the trails. Any of the trails that are being removed need to be rebuilt as part of the project.
Charlie, that's condition number 1 in the staff report, just so you're aware.
Okay, use that. That's good. Okay. Oh, prior to development applications in this area.
Is that fair to say? Because they're just gonna continue to plat.
Right, so let's include with Tammy's condition number 1, the condition number 5 that I placed on the last two, which is just constructed as part of the subdivision improvements, basically. So that'll be part of their escrow and all that.
The trail, you mean?
Mhm.
Okay,
The trail realignment.
okay.
And
Okay.
um. Approval is gonna come with an additional condition. With a couple of extra findings. Sorry, Marta.
Mm.
I'm blowing away this out, but. Um. Approval is on condition that the developer can provide the evidence in the record that the county's dead end road standard doesn't apply to the extension of these roads. And I understand the extension of the roads and the dead end nature of the roads, the configuration has already been approved. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's approved for more than 30 lots.
Okay.
The lot sizes could just be bigger or whatever, so that they've got 30 or less. Now, I know that we've already been approving some that are greater than 30, and I don't want to interrupt that. Just want to make sure we're doing it lawfully.
Mhm.
Is all. I know they've got a development agreement amendment that's probably coming up. We probably want to explicitly put something in there if we can't find whatever that is for this project.
So by providing evidence, are you asking for essentially maybe a slope analysis or some?
No,
What is it
just legal.
Okay.
Just a legal analysis that shows that the number of lots on a dead end road that is adopted in county ordinance is not applicable.
Okay.
If that evidence doesn't exist, then this needs to be brought back for review. I hate doing that because we've taken them down a path on all these other developments, but
Okay, let's see here. So if they can't provide the evidence, then this needs to be brought back. Okay.
yeah, I want to reconsider approval. I'm not saying denial, but
Okay.
definitely reconsider. Just want to make sure we're on strong legal ground. And my findings for the decision is what staff have in the staff report with the additional the abundance of caution as a result of high concern expressed by the fire chief about excessive development on single access roads. And I want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence appropriately to verify that the developer is meeting their minimum obligations and we are providing our providing them with what they are entitled to.
Okay.
And that's number one. Finding number two. The abundance of caution is related to factors of safety, not just tied to fire, wildfire issues. Or concerns, not issues, wildfire concerns, but also tied to other kinds of egress needed and the challenges that occur when stacking lots on a single road during emergency circumstances. For overtime. Or I also want to reconsider items number 1 and 2 to add the same. The additional condition of, actually not 1 and 2, just 2. Right, 1 was only, how many lots were in 1?
Well, I think it was right here. Open show. Okay, it would be 1. The 1's 36 lots.
Yeah, 2 is Lone Creek. So yeah, reconsideration of number 1 with the same additional finding. So approval. And then, or sorry, with the additional condition and the 2 findings. Is that enough for you, Marta?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait for you to adjourn. I
Okay.
want to ask a question.
With that, we'll adjourn.
Yes.